So you want to know if Harry Styles can act? Keep watching this video. Hello and welcome back to Popcorn Chat. In this video I'm going to be speaking to you about Olivia Wilde's latest film, Don't Worry Darling. So we are introduced to Jack and Alice in this very sort of 1950s idyllic sort of Americana, where the women stay at home, clean, cook, and the men go off and work. So that's sort of, very much 1950s ideal living situation. However, things start to change as Alice starts to notice a few things, how, things are very routine, she starts questioning a lot. And that's when the story really picks up. Let's talk about some positives of the film. One of the best elements about this film is Florence Pugh. She brings her A game once again in this film. She always smashes it. She's always really good at what she's given and brings such range and diversity to the characters that she's played so far, and she does it again here. I love the whole 50s American aesthetic that Olivia Wilde has created in this film. I love the cars, I love the fashion, I love the buildings. Like, she brings everything to this sort of ideal, perfect situation that, a lot of America dreamed about in the 50s, and I think she really, really encapsulated that. I really thought they used sound design well in this film. There's lots of ASMR sounds and use of music and motifs throughout, so I thought it was very cleverly designed. Alongside Florence Pugh, I do think there were some good supporting performances from Olivia Wilde herself, and Chris Pine and Gemma Chan. I think they all did really, really excellent. Chris Pine was very good as a baddie in this film, I have to say. Let's talk about some negatives of the film. There's definitely one question on all of your lips, and that was, is Harry Styles any good in this film? Yeah, I think he's okay. I think his acting is not as good as what I've seen previously in the likes of Dunkirk. I definitely think he progresses within the film as the film goes on. You can see him sort of leaning into the character more, and tries to give a bit more range. He is quite, monotone and kind of bland for a lot of the film, but I think in the last act he kind of picks it up and starts to sort of fully let loose, and I think that's when he gives the best performances. But yeah, I don't think it's his strongest bit of acting that I've seen. I do think the film has pacing issues. It is 2 hours long, and a lot of that is setting up Alice's world and then her realisation that it's not all it's cracked up to be. So I think there's a lot on that side of the film, just the world that it's in, and waiting for it to get going a lot of the time, and waiting for her to sort of realise and freak out with, the sudden realisation that, hang on a minute, am I meant to be in this place that may or may not be real? I wanted it to get going, have more of this sort of scale and sort of spectacle that I was waiting for it to get to, and it starts coming in a little bit later on, and I just wanted that a little bit sooner. Throughout the film there are definitely repetitive images and motifs that I think get a little bit tiresome. I mean, if you know, it's definitely about that eye sort of visual, and that comes up way too many times. And I think they could have changed it up a little bit, or, really sort of diversified it when it came back into the narrative. Yeah, I just think it was a little bit too repetitive sometimes. So now I'm going to get into some spoilers. So if you haven't watched the film, make sure you skip forward to this timestamp. In the last 30 minutes, we see the twist where, in fact, Frank, played by Chris Pine, has actually set up this sort of online simulation which allows people like Jack to bring their partner into this world and have that idyllic situation that they're after, that they're not really getting in their reality. And I thought it was an interesting element. It was going to be something along those lines, wasn't it? How were the men controlling the women? Yeah, it was a different sort of angle, I guess, but it wasn't far from what we've seen before in terms of those sort of twists and plot points. I still have a few questions after the film, like what was the plane about? What was that significant? If it was all this sort of digital world, I wanted to know what the other men did and their reality. What were they like? Were they also these same sort of characters as Jack? I just wanted to know more and more, and I think it kind of just threw the ending and the twist at you, and it was like, oh, there you go. So I wanted a little bit more of a not necessarily resolution, because, you don't need to have everything resolved. But I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more perspectives than just Jack and Alice's story. So what did I think of Don't Worry Darling? Well, I didn't think it was as bad as a lot of people were making it out to be. I definitely think there's some really strong performances, especially from Florence Pugh. I like the whole set design and music composition. There's so many little elements that I liked in this film, and I like the setup of the world. However, I'm not sure they really pulled it off with the whole concept and how they decided to wrap it up in that third act. I do think the social commentary in this film is a little on the nose, commentary on, especially men's ideal of women in this 1950s Americana, especially with the blonde hair, etc. Was a little bit, on the surface. I think they could have delved a lot deeper in terms of the themes. So it's a little bit weak on that front for me. Saying that, I will admit that it has started a conversation with a lot of people regarding their thoughts on this film and what it's trying to say, if it's anything at all. And, different actors' performances in this film. It's definitely got people talking. Whether that was the intention, I don't know. But I thought, I probably am more on the side of liking it than not liking it. So I'm going to give this film 2.5 stars out of 5. Thank you very much for watching my review of Don't Worry Darling. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already to keep up to date with any latest videos that I post. Don't forget to leave your thoughts down below in the comments if you've seen Don't Worry Darling. I would love to check those out. I want to know if you loved it, you hated it, or you're kind of in the middle. I'd love to read those, so make sure you leave your thoughts down below, and I'll see you very soon for another popcorn chat.